All right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody, or technically morning. It's only 11 o'clock. Let me rephrase and retract that statement. Good morning, everybody. I am Ryan Gian, and I am so excited to come to you today with this amazing opportunity just to have a little bit of a conversation with you. Now, if you're tuning into this, which I hope that you are, or if you're catching this in replay, couple quick things. Number one, I am Ryan Gian, the team lead and one of the broker support roles for Keller Williams Preferred Realty here, serving the entire Great Lakes Bay region of Michigan. I am going to be doing a series of some of these Facebook Lives and social media platform extensions. If you didn't get a chance to watch the very first one that I did personally, I had an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about something that I call my KW experience. And it is basically my journey in real estate, what led me to this point, and the reason why I stuck my claim in the Keller Williams system and what it is doing for me specifically and my business. Now, it also is a great opportunity for us to talk a little bit about some best practices and some really cool things that make us successful as professionals. Now, here's the benefit of it, okay? When we're talking about a particular experience, we're referring to principles and traits and techniques and things like that that have all aided to our ability as professionals to create this bubble or this mountaintop experience of success. And so a lot of what we talk about in these opportunities and in these moments and in these times of conversation is really transferable principles. So if you're watching this today and you're not in real estate, it's 100% good. If you're watching this and you're thinking about getting into real estate, it is 100% good. If you're watching this and are in real estate, it is still 100% good. But I guarantee you, we're going to say something today that is going to aid your efforts in your profession and in your industry. So again, my name is Ryan Gian. I'm the team lead here for KW Preferred Realty. I'm so excited that you have joined us with a few moments of this morning into afternoon of just where we're talking about my KW experience. Now, like I mentioned, the first video, so to speak, that I did was predicated around me, right? Why did I get into this business? How did I get into this business? Some of the ups and downs of this business, what I've learned from this business, and what I'm currently utilizing to gain and aid in my success. Today, I'm going to be bringing on a very special guest to me, who also has a very unique and interesting story as it pertains to this business, as it pertains to this industry, what this particular individual has been through. And I just figured it'd be a great opportunity to bring her on board and to talk a little bit about some of those things. So we're going to kind of leave it open for almost like a Q&A platform today. I've got a series of some questions that I want to kind of go over with her at. And then all I'm going to ask is either during the duration of this video, which we do have the capability to monitor comments, and or at the conclusion of it, should you have any questions or commentary from watching this with us, please do so. I'm also going to ask you to take this opportunity to go ahead and share and like this video, especially with any other of our realtor friends or our profession or vendors that we work with as well. Because again, a lot of these principles that we're going to be discussing are going to be 100% transferable into whatever industry it is specifically that you work in. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on here in just a moment. Before I do that, my official introduction is I'm so excited to have this particular individual that I'm going to be bringing before you here in just a moment. She is an amazing asset to our KW Preferred family. She is an incredible leader within the industry as well. She's been in the business for quite some time. So she comes to the table not only with a high level of experience, but also with a high level of open perspective. And so being able to, I think it's important as leaders, I will say this as we get ready to introduce her, it is important as leaders to keep other leaders that have broad vision around you, because it adds and aids to where you're going, the vision moving forward. And it also gives the opportunity to allow creative feedback into what it is that you're trying to do. And so this particular individual is definitely just that. And I'm so excited to have her with us. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on and make sure her mic is unmuted and we are all good. So I can see her. Angela, can you see me?
I can see you just fine, Ryan. Good morning.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so without further ado, I am bringing to you today our associate broker for KW Preferred Realty. It is Angela Zolinski, along with her amazing team, My Sky Realty. I'm so excited to have her on board. So good morning to you, Angela.
Good morning.
I'm so excited and honored that you took this opportunity to chat with us today. So I've got a few questions that I told you I was going to ask, and I hopefully I don't push you too far out of your comfort zone, but it's exciting stuff for me, and I love this because
we're here, aren't we?
Right. You don't got a choice now, huh? This is where all the magic happens. So this is when we get a great opportunity to come together and discuss really some of these best practices. So for those that are joining us on Facebook, I want to go ahead and just say hello to you. So if you could do me a favor and just wave, say hello, let us know that you're here. I see Nicholas is on here. Atkins, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, sir. Go ahead and share this video. I promise you it's going to be some great information we're going to go over. So without further ado, here we go. So as I mentioned in my preference and prerequisite statements, that Angela comes to us with a lot of years of experience. She had the opportunity, which we're going to dive into here in just a moment, to build her own independent brokerage, and then saw fit to partner that independent brokerage with Keller Williams and utilize the tools, technology, training aspects, and a lot of other stuff that is benefiting her and her business as well. So I'm excited to kind of dive into this. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to ask the first question, which is also going to help the introduction of you, Angela. And it simply is this: give us a little synopsis of your history. Why did you get into real estate? What pushed you into this business? You know, why are you here? And basically, why do you do what you do?
Well, I've always had a passion for homes, but also wanting to be my own boss and the flexibility that real estate offers. And I didn't have to miss any of my kids' activities and events during school. And my kids are actually my main reason for everything that I do.
Awesome. So when it comes to real estate itself, let's talk a little bit about that. So how long have you been in the business? You know, I was going to say, when did you get your license? But I think all that's answered with how long have you been in the business? So we're going to stick with that question. Let's start there.
Well, I got my license in 2001. And I started out with an independent brokerage for a year, and then I came over to KW.
Okay, so 2001, you said. So we're approaching 20 years? Is that 20?
Yeah.
Congrats to you. Happy 20th anniversary. That's awesome. That is exciting. So tell us a little bit about what you had mentioned that you came to Keller Williams basically in the beginning part. So tell us a little bit about that. Why did you come to Keller Williams? What attracted you first in the first place? And then what was the whole process and reasoning as to why you ended up essentially leaving Keller Williams, starting your own independent brokerage? Let's start there.
Well, first of all, like, I love meeting new people and making new friends in the industry. So that was, you know, that helps me in the real estate industry. But I love mentoring new agents and watching them succeed. But starting out with Keller Williams, shortly after I got my license, I just loved Keller Williams then and everything that it stood for. And then the opportunity, like you said, arose where I second on needed a broker. So it was just perfect timing for me that I get to keep and grow my company while having the same goals for Keller Williams to grow Keller Williams. The technology at KW is the best in the industry, and I get the opportunity to integrate that with my Sky Realty.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I'm actually glad you said that, because a couple of my next questions and points actually were centered around some things that you had actually just said, which I think are very powerful. So I just want to highlight that really quickly, because a lot of what I'm hearing from you is kind of a dual reason as to, one, why you got into real estate, but two, why you partnered with Keller Williams and then came back and partnered with Keller Williams. And it sounds like it's because, number one, you identify that you have the certain metrics of flexibility with running your own business, but then you also identify that it's a great platform to benefit from what Keller Williams offers, which we're going to dive into here in just a little bit, but then also to stretch your leadership capabilities, right? I mean, this is an opportunity that, people don't understand that we provide. I mean, a lot of companies kind of broadcast this whole, sky's the limit, so many opportunities here, so many opportunities there. And a lot of times it becomes just a tagline. It becomes just a phrase that people use, and it gets overpopulated, right? But until you really kind of dive into it and you realize customization that Keller Williams offers in terms of an opportunity to say, hey, here's your big why, your family, your flexibility, your financial freedom, financial literacy, and also here are some additional additives where you get to exercise your leadership capabilities. You can exercise your gifts, your talents, and then allow those gifts and talents to kind of take you to that next place. So that's super cool. So tell me one thing that you love about this business, like the biggest thing that you love about this business. Because let's be honest, let me preface this question. Okay. Business is business.
Right.
It is not easy. It is not a walk in the park. It is not a get rich quick thing. And I tell every new agent that talks about getting into this business that if you're getting into real estate because you think tomorrow you're going to wake up a millionaire, I'm going to burst your bubble because that's not going to happen. Okay. So the one thing that you love about this business, I know it's got a lot of businessy things. And by businessy things, Angela, I mean the elbow grease it takes in this business. There are some days that you may ask yourself, why am I doing this? There are some days that you may ask yourself, what the heck am I doing? And then there's some days that you ask yourself, where's my fast forward button so I can just move right to retirement and go to my private island, right? But what is the one thing that you love about this business, even in the midst of all the chaos that this business can give us?
I would say probably meeting new people and making new friends with them. And then of course, like I said before too, you meet so many different people every day, and I've got long-term relationships I never would have met these people if it weren't for real estate. So I definitely value that. And again, like I said before, meeting, bringing on new agents and being able to mentor them and just watching them succeed is very rewarding.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, one thing I'm going to do, and this is just a complete pause and out of the question kind of a thing. So to those that are watching on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and ask to just comment if you could please, and let us know that you can hear us and see us. Okay. Yesterday we went live with some things and we had some serious connectivity issues and it just did not look pretty. We supposedly have since then been fixed. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear and see us. Okay. So Nicholas, if you're still watching, all those that are joining us, if you could just do me a favor and just say, hey, I hear you loud and clear, or all is good, or just type something in the comment box so I know that our conversation is not in vain. Okay. All right. Back on script. So, Angela, let's talk about this. It can be something specific that Keller Williams does. It can be not specifically Keller Williams, but what I want to talk about is a couple trades to success here. So what are the top 3 things that have contributed to your success?
I would say the constantly continuing education, the support that I get from my family and friends, that is a huge factor. And then having dedication and discipline.
You said a hot button point for me. Okay. Discipline.
Yeah.
That is something we lack so bad, especially in this business, is discipline. Mm-hmm. Now, okay, so let me not get caught on that because that's a soapbox. Okay, so I'm going to rewind to what you said to answer this in the beginning. So 100%. The support, the education aspect is super key because one, in order for anybody, and I guess this is going to be like maybe one of everybody's first major nuggets. Okay. So if you are watching this today, listen to Angela. Angela is successful because Angela remains coachable. Angela remains teachable. She has to go through continuing education to keep her license up to snuff, but she also goes through additional training to perfect her craft and perfect her skills. So you have to be coachable and teachable and trainable in this business, along with a lot of other businesses that it takes to be successful in. So that's super important right there to begin with. Then she had mentioned support, Angela. 100% support is necessary because we're not in this battle of business alone. And that's where a lot of people fail. That's where a lot of people falter. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of even independent brokerages right now are having difficult times in this business because they don't have the support that's necessary to make sure that you can still run and execute the vision that you want to run and execute. So that is super, super important. But the discipline aspect, listen, if you don't get nothing else today from this conversation between me and whatever side of the screen she's on to you. Okay. Me and Angela, listen, you have to exercise discipline. You have to. We are independent brokers, or we are independent contractors, excuse me. We are individuals that are running our own businesses. Okay. That is not a walk in the park. People think that you become your own boss and you alleviate yourself from employee responsibilities. In reality, it's much more difficult if you do not have discipline, because you think that you're just a free-for-all show, and then you don't time block, you don't organize your schedule, you don't do the things that's necessary to add and contribute to success. So discipline is super important. Angela, these are amazing answers. Next question here real quick. All right. So because of those things, I'm gonna kind of jump around a little bit here. Why did you decide, because you kind of have referenced it a little bit in your journey when we talked about your process of real estate, why did you come back to Keller Williams?
Like I said before, it was a perfect timing for me, and I'm looking to grow my personal company, my independent brokerage. And so looking at what Keller Williams had to offer and knowing what I know from being with them before, all of the just all of the different teams and support that they have, this was going to be my next step to grow my company, as well as wanting to grow Keller Williams and put them on the map in the Tri-Cities.
Awesome. Awesome. So one point that I want to kind of piggyback off of that is, I think it's important to understand, going back to a lot of that support thing that you had mentioned, that in you and me, and I'm going to say this to be honest and transparent to all the viewers that are watching or will be watching a replay, that it is important to identify like vision in individuals. And when we first started talking about you coming back home to Keller Williams, bringing the successful business that you had already built and established, and partnering with Keller Williams Preferred, I think one of the biggest identifying factors that you and me had was the exact fact that we had a lot of like vision, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have a vision for My Sky Realty, powered by Keller Williams Preferred. You have a vision also for Keller Williams Preferred. And we identified that not only do those visions line up, but the visions literally between you and me are very parallel as well, even as it pertains to the Guillen Group, as it pertains to KW Preferred, those type of things. So I think it's super important to just kind of drive that point home, and saying one of the biggest things that contributes to the overall vision is to get somebody that shares like vision. And the vision is super, super important. I'm a firm believer that without a vision, people lack understanding, people lack knowledge, people lack wisdom. You can't drive somewhere that you don't know where you're going, because you've never been there before, without the adequate GPS. Like Siri's got to be in there somewhere. Google Maps has got to be in there somewhere in order for you to get to your final destination. And that's exactly what vision does. So when we don't have it, then we fumble around, and we have the potential at that point then to circumvent and kill essentially the success that we could have in this business. So I think it's super important that like-minded individuals, like vision individuals, have to come together, very much like you and me did, and KW Preferred and My Sky Realty did, to make that perfect marriage to advance in that vision. So that's super powerful. Okay, so let me ask this. When you made the decision, I'm looking at my notes here because I'm going to cut some of the questions out, because we actually answered quite a few of them in the dialogue already. So in your decision to come back to Keller Williams, let's identify some of those particular things. Basically, what does Keller Williams offer you to make you be, or to aid you in becoming successful, or even more successful? Because let me preface that statement. First of all, Keller Williams or any brokerage is not going to make you. Okay. What it is given is a roadmap with the tools, the processes, the protocols, the items, etc., that aid and push towards success, right? But that doesn't make you. You have to take that stuff and you have to work that stuff and you have to implement that stuff and you have to push those things out. But a lot of times people don't have those, and or they don't have access to those. So when you came back to Keller Williams, what does KW offer you that's assisted you and is assisting you in the metrics of success that you want to hit?
Well, KW assisted by offering not only the best technology in the industry, But the support that we have coaches, marketing team, technology support, daily training that I can take depending on what I want to learn and how it fits into my schedule. So before it was just myself, I relied on myself for absolutely everything. Now I have a whole team of people that I can utilize.
Perfect. Sorry, I had an incoming call and it messed me up. So the team, the technology is super, super huge. And for those that don't know anything particularly about that technology, one thing that I will say is if you did not get a chance to catch the beginning part of this video, I put a clip in there that offers just a synopsis of some of the technology that we are providing. 2 years ago now, during Family Reunion in February, Gary Keller had launched all the proprietary technology that he has been working on months and months, years, not even months, years to build and perfect. And here at KW, we have this model, it's a company that's built basically by the agents for the agents. And so what happened is during the development of all this proprietary technology, and because Keller Williams is globally the most profitable and privately owned. We are not a publicly traded company. We're a privately owned corporation. That means that we can maximize on the profitability aspects. So there was an average of about $1 million to $1.2 million a month that has been dumped into the building of this massive proprietary technology platform that has now been launched and is at our fingertips as KW Associates. And so what it's doing, it's allowed us to aid in bringing what's necessary to stay ahead of the industry. Okay. I mean, we have things that a lot of people in our business are upset about. Redfin and Compass and Zillow and all those type of things. I mean, you can Google the news. I mean, Inman and CNN and like, Yahoo, any news platform, there's going to be this ruckus that's going on within the industry. And so Gary Keller had this vision to really assist the associates in becoming the disruptors of the industry. Now, in order to do that, we have to have certain tools that are at our disposal. And one of those tools was this proprietary technology that has been launched. And so I think it's safe to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Angela, that's probably one of the biggest reasons why you came back and partnered My Sky Realty with KW Preferred, is because now you can still maintain the independent brokerage, the vision, the marketing, the concepts, everything that you want to do for My Sky Realty, but now you get to take that and use all of this proprietary stuff that KW provides its associates. Is that a fair assessment?
Yep.
Okay.
Very accurate.
Okay. So what I'm not going to do, okay, is turn this into a technology conversation, because I love our technology and I could like word vomit so much when it comes to what we have been given pretty much at like no charge as an associate. Okay. And so since, when the business models and such were established in the 80s by Gary Keller, literally not much of anything, if at all, has changed other than just the additives to help us be successful. And so when all of this multi-millions and probably close to $1 billion worth of stuff went into the development and launching of this technology, our bills as associates did not increase, because again, our profitability margins as KW at whole. So because of that now, like that adds another whole level of success. Because I mean, if you were to take anything else and try to compare with what we have, I mean, the financial budget, it's out of this world. And so we're not going to waste the time going over that, but just trust me when I say that it is one of the most exciting things for me, because it's streamlining our business. It's maximizing the opportunity to close transactions. And we are seeing our agents' businesses shoot through the roof just because of this. So that's one of the reasons I believe a lot of people are starting to gravitate and pull back and or come over and or repartner with Keller Williams because of those type of things. So that's pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit about Angela, your team, your vision, how you run some things. What is the expectations? Actually, let's do this, because we could talk about logistics, and I don't want to turn this into a complete mastermind interview either. But what are some of the things? How do you run My Sky Realty Group? What is the expectations of the agents that you bring on? What are some of your goals this year? And what are some of the things that you're doing to obtain those goals? So However you want to answer that slew of questions in one statement, go for it.
Well, obviously I want to grow my company. So I start by adding more agents. So um, to say, I mean, I'm choosy who I want to add because I want quality over quantity. And we've talked about that before. So there are some people that I'm talking to currently. So hopefully by the end of this year, I'll have the team that I want in place. Right now I'm working with Kayla, and she is absolutely amazing. She covers like Standish, Omer, Pinconning, that region over there. And what was the rest of your question?
No, I mean that was a lot of it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to kind of hear the expectation of,
Yeah.
you had mentioned quality. So let's
Yeah.
hit on that, because that's one of the expectation things that I was
Right.
referring to. So we focus on quality and not really so much quantity, right? And that's, I think, a thing at large, even with a brokerage. Like, it's great to have a large number of agents that you work with, but what are those agents producing really kind of comes into question. And so what are some of those expectations of quality? How when you look for an agent, the ones that you currently have on the My Sky Realty Group and the ones that you are looking to obtain, what are some of the characteristics that you look for in people that support that quality requirement?
One of the biggest ones would be integrity and honesty. I think that's huge. If somebody, you have to have the discipline. I want somebody that's going to be hardworking and go after it, because there is no magic sauce. Real estate doesn't just happen for you, like you said, and you don't become a millionaire overnight. You have to go get it. So I'd say honesty, integrity, dedication, discipline. Those are all things I'm looking for in a quality person.
That's awesome. That's very good. So let's talk a little bit about then some of like the to any new agents or people that are thinking about getting into this business, or even current professionals. What advice essentially would you give them today that would help further their career and help obtain their goals?
For new agents, I would say take all of the training that is offered to you, and let everyone know that you come across that you're a realtor, and don't be afraid to ask for referrals. More seasoned agents never stop learning. The industry changes every day, and we have to continuously learn.
That's awesome. That's good. That's good. Very good advice. Let's dive into one thing real quick here before we get ready to kind of wrap up, because again, I want to respect everybody's time, and I was hoping to kind of keep this little powwow down to about 30 minutes, and we're like 2 minutes over, but we played a couple minute video, so we have this 2-minute grace. Okay. So when it comes to your levels of success, your metrics of success, let's identify basically the biggest like aha moment for you. Like, was there a pivot point in your business? And I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be, I mean, it could be, let me say this. It could be now, it could be like a 2020 into 2021. It could be like, holy cow, you partnered My Sky Realty with KW Preferred, and then guess what? A pandemic hit.
Right.
And so we all learned how to, no, we all were forced to learn how to pivot our businesses. So you kind of had like a lot of little pivots, like in one giant pivot. And so it could be that as an example, or it could be another pivotal point in your career over the last 20 years of being licensed. Let's identify whatever that pivot point was, and how did you get through and or are getting through that time in that moment? Because a lot of times, the reason I'm asking this is because a lot of times those type of shifts tend to, or have the ability to, wash people out. And when you look at the stats across the nation, like the realtor licensing numbers, according to the NAR statistics, are all over the place, right? When recessions and stuff hit, the agent count drops like crazy. But that also means that market share hasn't necessarily dropped. So that also means that the individuals that are still licensed and a part of the industry now get to maximize on the potential market share that the other agents that dropped out used to have. And so there's a lot of additives that are in there. So let's identify one point, and this is totally off script. So if you need a few seconds to think,
no, I think I have it.
that one pivotal point and what helped you or is helping you past that pivotal point and still pushing you towards success?
I would probably say adaptability. You have to be able to adapt because, like I said, it changes every single day. The market changes, technology changes, the way we do things. We had everything completely shifted during the pandemic. We could only do virtual live tours. We couldn't do live tours. We could only do virtual. So I would say adaptability. And if you don't like change, then real estate's probably not for you.
Like at all. At all. It definitely is not a Monday through Friday 9 to 5.
No.
Okay? So if you're looking for
It's 24/7.
Yes, if you're looking for a consistent schedule, then this industry is not for you. But but for those of us that like every day is a new day, every day is some new challenge, every day is something different or fun like that, then this is totally up your alley. Okay, you could have not hit it more. You could have not hit the nail on the head more by your adaptability comment. And today's Friday, right? So Wednesday, I did a Facebook Live on my little 15 minutes of faith session where we talked about fostering adaptability. And it's very, powerful that you said that, because adaptability can be like the thing that either makes or breaks somebody's success, right? And so adaptability, though, is not conformity. Conformity says I'm going to become a product of my environment. So if tough times hit business, if tough times hit real estate, if, when we had the recession and we had the market crash and all this other stuff, there was a lot of people that conformed to that situation, right? They didn't pivot their business. They didn't grow and educate themselves on how to get through it. They just let the waves of the moment take them over, and they conform to the waves of the moment. Sorry, another input. They conform to the waves of the moment, but they never fostered the ability to adapt, which is where adaptability comes in, right? So adaptability says, I'm making a new use out of the situation. So I'll give an example just to bring it home to those that are watching on the business side of things. I'll give an example. When the market crashed, okay, the agents that got washed out and we conformed to the season did something different than the agents that remained successful and adapted to the situation. So the adaptability says, I'm going to make a new use out of this moment. And that new use out of this moment. So what people did is they went and they got certified in short sales. They went and they got additional training and certifications on how to do short sales, work with asset managers, work with HUD, Fannie, and Freddie Mac, and those type of things. Because at that time, with that market crash, of course, unfortunately, a ton of people lost their homes. Okay, but the banks still have to liquidate the assets. And so then it's diving into asset management. It's diving into trying to find investors and work with property management and this, that, and the other. And people that were selling these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes as, higher end residential real estate needed to say, okay, I may have to go over here and sell this $15,000 foreclosed property, or I may have to go over here and work this $100,000 short sale, right? And so they made a new use of the situation, and that's what adaptability is. And if you ask anybody, like in that using that season as an example, if you ask anybody in that moment, that did that had the ability to adapt, they will tell you sometimes they made more money in that downturn than they did in a normal real estate year, because they knew how to adapt. So your adaptability commentary could not have been a more of like an, oh my gosh moment. Like if you don't hear anything else either of us say, you needed to hear that. That is probably one of the most powerful statements we could have made to this during this entire time. So let's conclude with one last question, and then I'm going to leave it for any other additional commentary that you may have. Okay. And my last question is this. When it comes to you and My Sky Realty and your relationship with Keller Williams and Keller Williams Preferred, and if there is an agent that is watching this or somebody that knows of somebody that is either thinking about getting their real estate license and is looking for a brokerage, or is contemplating making a transition just to position their business in a better way, what would you say to those individuals that we have to offer to assist them? Like you can just, this is your total moment to just rant and rave about whatever it is that you want to rant and rave about.
Well, first I would say give us a call, let us talk to you about it. But like I said, the technology, and I had a small independent. So being able to have access to that is pretty huge, to help grow my company. But, not just with marketing, but the CRM and all of the back end stuff that you need as well. So having access to all of that and having access to the full team of people to help you out daily, and as a new person having the coaches and helping you get started. And we have a mentor program. I'm mentoring new agents right now, and I love that part of my job. So just offering those to new agents even, and is pretty wonderful.
That's awesome. So one thing that I do want to add, because I think it's a valid point, is that you had mentioned some of the coaching and training. And if you look at Keller Williams at large, Keller Williams is known for the coaching and the training. Like we are like the teaching and coaching training company, right? And so one of the things that we do here at KW Preferred is, like Angela had mentioned, that we have opportunities basically for everybody at every phase, right? So we've got the newbies that are required to go through the launch coaching program. We have mentorships programs. We have productivity coaching program as well. So, I mean, it could be anything from the new person starting out to the person that says, hey, I've been in this business for 7 years and I'm at $7 million and I'm trying to get to $10 million. How do I do that? Well, then we can get you in the productivity coaching program that breaks those glass ceilings. So we have things that fit basically anybody in any level of their career or potential career in real estate. And I think that's very important to understand when we're talking about the MyKW experience, when we're talking about what it is that Keller Williams has offered you and myself, right? The tools, the technology, the resources to make ourselves successful. One of the biggest things that Keller Williams is known for is the culture. I mean, if you look at the history of who we are, I mean, we're number one in the workplace for women. We're number one happiest place to work. Like, we have all of these culture awards that are recognized on a global level because of the bloodline of the culture of Keller Williams. And so I think it's important to understand that a lot of times we have really good connections like you and me and in My Sky Realty with KW Preferred because we have that family feel, but with the franchise tools and systems. And so that is, like, to me, is one of the perfect storm of success, right? Because a lot of times people come into business and they're like, well, I'm scared I'm going to get washed out. I'm scared I'm going to get drowned out. I don't know if, it's a big franchise. I don't know if they're going to, whatever. And then, you may go to one other spot, and then other spots like, well, they have this, but they lack that. So basically what I'm saying is that the MyKW experience is a customizable experience to meet anybody at any phase of the career or potential career that they are in, but then also to provide the customized additives along those journeys. And so whether it is the coaching, whether it is the training, whether it is the technology, the systems, the tools, the protocols, the models, we customize the business models as well. I mean, this real estate is very known for the dependent, independent, and interdependent models, but there's rarely, if at all, any other brokerages like Keller Williams that can offer a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a little bit of this to kind of piece together the framework that's necessary to get you where you need to go. So that's just the last point that I really wanted to drive home when it comes to the MyKW experience, is that literally it is MyKW. It is what is Keller Williams offering to customize and adjust the framework to add to our success, and then to talk about some of those tools and resources on that. So any last concluding words that you may have, Angela?
No, not really, other than if you're thinking of switching, if you're not happy with your brokerage or want to grow, come talk to Ryan or I. And if you're thinking that real estate might be an industry that you're interested in, come talk to us and we can answer more of your questions.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Angela. I'm going to go ahead and boot you back out so you can go about your day. I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate the value, the information that you added to this conversation. I'm very thankful. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And okay. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up here in just a second. I do want to reiterate something really quickly that Angela had mentioned upon the conclusion of this. If there's anybody that's watching this that you've contemplated or thought about real estate, please reach out to us. Private message me, private message Angela. Let's sit down, have a consultation, talk about it. Or even if you were looking for a free business consultation. So we are offering to our agent friends some free business coaching and free business consultation. It is not a recruiting effort. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, here's Ryan talking about trying to get me to go to Keller Williams, guess what? I'm not. Because well, what I am trying to do is just say, hey, let's compare notes and let's add to each other's business. And so we are offering that as well. So if you just want to have a conversation centered around some business consultation, some business structuring or anything like that, we'll be more than happy to have that as well. So I want to thank you so much for your guys' time. I want to thank you so much for watching us. I hope that anything that has been said has been somewhat of a value to you today and something that you can take and apply to whatever it is that you want to do in this future, in this life moving forward. So again, I thank you guys so much for your time today. I hope you have a great and productive rest of the day today. And we will see you here again in a couple weeks for the next My KW experience. Until then, God bless.